Again, you'll have to make me a host or something.
Yes, sir. You can share it now, the PPT.
Yeah. Okay. I had requested Professor Bhushan that the recording which is there, can you, if it's on a cloud or something, is it on the YouTube or it's on the cloud? Where is it exactly the recording kept?
The recording is on the cloud, sir. I will
Okay,
share the
so,
links.
if it's possible to send me the link, just
Yes.
send me the link.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know, so that I know what I have covered, or if there is some weaknesses in my presentation, I can cover it up some other time. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Now I'll quickly go on the thing. Now, this is what I was presenting to you when the thing got changed. Now I spoke about the 98% boundaries of the Northeast is there with the other countries, and only 2% it is with India. So therefore, there is a huge problem, and that is what we need to look at. Okay, just a second. Yeah. Okay. Just this portion is the place where it joins up with rest of India. So the rest, otherwise 98% it is with everything else, including Bangladesh. Okay. Now, next point that we need to talk about is basically I told you quite a few things, and how the illegal migration increased, how historically the work is to take place, how the border areas now are thickly migrated, and then I spoke about a bit of background as to how the concept of Pakistan came into play. Then I spoke about the book that was written by Rahmat Ali, in which he talked about now or never, and he started the concept of Pakistan, which was later picked up by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, etc. And then this all I covered. Then Muhammad Ali Jinnah, what did he do? Then Lahore resolution, they passed on this whole thing, and then ultimately East Pakistan became separate, etc., etc. Okay, and in the history, I also mentioned to you that there are some people who were not bothered about the Northeast for vote bank politics. They permitted the Muslim League to do whatever they wanted to, and this was not stopped. But there were certain patriotic people like Mr. Gopinath Bordoloi, who was the chief minister of Assam at that point of time. And I mentioned to you that Assam then was the whole of Northeast. The part, the other states like Manipur, Nagaland, they came post 1971 war. In fact, most of them came somewhere in 1973. Okay, so all this I've told you as to how this was covered. And C.S. Mullan was the first person who spoke about the illegal migration that was taking place with the Census Commissioner. And then there were people like, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. There were people like Mujibur Rahman who spoke about it, and Field Marshal Bevel, who was a very renowned British general who fought in the Second World War. He was the Governor General of India. He wrote in his book that how this illegal migration is taking place, and thereafter how they decided to divide this into various parts, etc. This is what I had spoken to you, etc. Then Congress had more or less accepted the Northeast for Assam going to Pakistan, but it was Gopinath Bordoloi. See this is where Gopinath Bordoloi is, and he is called the savior of Assam because he stood against Nehru and Gandhi, and he said no, Northeast will remain a part of India because the Hindus are the majority there. Okay, now then there are some good people like General Sinha, etc., were the ones who spoke about it. Then Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in his book talks about, his book Myth of Independence, he talks about that Northeast should become a part of his country only. Then Sheikh Mujibur Rahman also talks about it. Then there are very many intellectuals in Bangladesh who talk about it. And then Devkan Barua, how we help illegal migration to come. All this I've spoken about. And then I mentioned about the book written by Mr. B.K. Nehru, who was the uncle of Jawaharlal Nehru, who was our first prime minister. He, in his book, Nice Guys Finish Second, talks about three Congress politicians from Assam who guided the Congress policy in Assam. They were the guilty men of illegal migration are basically, these are the guilty men of illegal migration. Devkan Barua, Moinul Haq Chowdhury, and Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. And Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad later became also he became the president. He was the chief minister of Assam, and also later he became the president of this country. But there are good people like B.K. Nehru, then there was B.P. Chalia. He tried to stop the illegal migration, but they were restrained. They were told that, no, don't even talk about it because then the Muslims will not vote for you, etc. Then Lieutenant General Jamil Mahmood of the Indian Army, who was the Eastern Army commander, spoke about it. He prepared a report. He wrote to the army headquarters. He said that Siliguri corridor is now habitated by these Bangladeshis. They're going to create a problem for you. And the biggest hero, as far as saving this country is concerned, is shown here. Lieutenant General S.K. Sinha, a very respected army man who was for 10 years governor of Assam, and he knew Northeast like the back of his hand. And he was also for 10 years the governor of Kashmir. Great man, and he was the one who prepared a report. And in this report, he gave a lot of recommendations as to what should be done to stop the illegal migration, what should be done with the illegal migrants, and how you should throw them out, etc. So he talked about border fencing, he talked about identity cards, he talked about updating the National Register of Citizens, he talked about repealing the IMDT Act. Maybe what is the IMDT Act? You may ask me that question. This was one of the most treacherous act ever prepared by people in the government. Then he talked about the stateless citizen, etc. But when he was doing this, the chief minister then, Mr. Tarun Gogoi, was against it. He told the media that he's exceeding his power and he's this is not what he should be doing. But then Gogoi, when he was third time he became the chief minister, realized that the problem had become very, very serious, and that is when he started to change his track and he started saying, yes, illegal migration is there, but then by then a lot of harm had been done. The Supreme Court struck down the IMDT Act. IMDT Act stands for Illegal Migration Detection Tribunal. I repeat again, IMDT, Illegal Migration Detection Tribunal. Now, how it was anti-national. Supreme Court talked about it and they struck it down. Guwahati High Court also said that Bangladeshi migrants have become kingmakers. Then many chief ministers of Northeast states, especially Nagaland, etc., talked about it, that there's a very serious problem. And it was at this point of time, the Bangladeshis decided, why should they vote for Congress? Why can't they form their own party? So they formed their own party called as the All India United Democratic Front. Just have a look at it here. They talked about All India Democratic Front. This is the thing that I'm talking about. They formed this party, and this party started fighting elections, and they have fought 3 elections up till now, including the one of parliament, and they became the second largest party in the state assembly. And they became a rival to the Congress, but they also became the kingmakers, because while they fought the election separately, when the government was formed, they joined the government, became ministers, and changed the policies to suit the further illegal migration of the Bangladeshis. So they really misused the power very much, and the Congress government could do very little about it. Then the next issue was that the agitation in Assam started. It was led by AGP, Assam Gana Parishad, the student wing, etc. I will not get into against the illegal migration. Now, this person, Ajmal Bajruddin, is the boss of AUDF. Even today, he is the boss. In the last elections, I must tell you, if I start talking about it, they will not be sufficient. But in the last elections, his strength has been reduced. If I remember the figures correctly, he had 4 members of parliaments in our parliament, Now it has been reduced to only one, and Akmal Bajaruddin himself has lost in the elections. Only I think his son has been elected, and his member of legislative MLAs from his party, the number has been reduced from 19 to I think 11 or some such number. But still they have a substantial number. Okay, so the appeasement policies in Northeast has been a problem of illegal migration. It also started fundamentalism. ULFA one organization which was formed to sort out the Bangladeshis, etc. So this is becoming a very, very serious problem. 5 crore Bangladeshis, 6 crore Bangladeshis. But the problem is so serious. They have infiltrated into the system so much that this person shown here was a Rajya Sabha member of Parliament, Ahmad Hussain Imran. He belonged to the Trinamool Congress, and it was in his house that the Bangladeshis used to shake shelters. A blast took place in his house, and many people died. So the West Bengal government tried to hide it. They did not let the National Investigation Agency come there. But after 8 days, because of the intervention of the court, the NIA was permitted to come to West Bengal, and still they found so much of explosives there, so much of everything there, that ultimately this gentleman is in the jail right now. And look at it, these illegal Bangladeshis, how powerful have they become that they started throwing stones at people. They bully the policemen, etc. No policeman dares to get into an area in which these people are staying there. The border security force is also scared of them. Look at this. Now this is this is the border security force patrol, which is trying to which is patrolling that in that area, but they have been told not to patrol. Can you see the BSF people? And look at with these people are stopping the border security force. So this is exactly how serious is the whole problem. And even BSF, which is a Central Armed Police Force, is not able to do what they're supposed to be doing, and they're scared of them. Now I'll possibly try and show you as to how one BS lot of time they have attacked the BSF patrols, etc. I also must tell you about two other names. Lieutenant General Ajay Singh was another governor of Assam for about 5 years. He also wrote a report on illegal migration. Then we had our the then Chief of Army Staff, General Bikram Singh. He spoke about it. Then General Bipin Rawat, who was the Chief of Defence Staff, he spoke about it. So there are many reports on this particular issue as to how serious is the issue. After the BJP government came into power somewhere in 2014, the present Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, he had said that he will go in for a national register of citizens, in start national population register. He will try to detect these people. So therefore, they passed a resolution about 3-4 years back on NRC, NPR, but the whole system in the country went against them, and ultimately, I shouldn't be saying it so crudely, but the BJP got so scared that presently the National Population Register, which had been approved by the Parliament, it is now lying in hibernation. They have not been able to implement it. Only once in a while, the Home Minister keeps on saying, yes, we are determined to implement it. But the basic problem is that they find that, all the opposition parties, all the political parties for vote bank politics will go against them. And again, a violence will start. So it is the scare of violence which is scared the National Population Register from being implemented. So you can see as to how powerful these people have become, how powerful is their support, that even a ruling party which has a majority is not able to implement what they're supposed to. Now, I'll not, why is the illegal migration taking place? I'll not get into it too much. You read it, it is very easy to understand. But I think this one particular thing that you must understand, what is called as Operation Brahmaputra. The ISI, which is Pakistan's intelligence agency, has been, they are the ones who are actually coordinating this, and they were also being helped by the intelligence agencies of the Bangladesh, etc. So this is definitely happening. But what is of more importance is that the government of Bangladesh, which is friendly to us, even they are only they are encouraging the illegal migration because they feel that they don't have enough space. And Bangladesh today is one of the most fertile countries in the in the world. Fertile, I meaning in terms of producing children. Every couple has about 7 to 8 children. So the rate at which their population is increasing, they find it easier to send them to India, and they encourage the people to go there. Now they carry out what is called as Operation Brahmaputra, in which if they decide to send a person, then they train, say let's say to Bombay, then they train them in Hindi, they train them in Marathi, they tell them the history of Bombay, they tell them everything so that they can settle down there. The agents are there who take them, make them cross a border. They corrupt the BSF there, or they when the BSF is not doing their job, they get inside, and then the agents from there take them to places like Guwahati, etc. Make all the documents. Now presently, since the Northeast, everybody is turned against them. Making documents there for them has become difficult. So now all the documents are made in West Bengal, etc. For money, anything can be bought in this country. Then from the West Bengal, they are sent to 9 states. They are Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Kerala, etc. The Bangladeshis in Maharashtra itself are in the tune of 50, 60,000. All the big cities of Maharashtra are flooded with them. Anywhere where a metro work is going on, or a work on real estate project is going on, or where a road extension work is going on, you will find them in plenty. Okay, and they are helped by many NGOs inside the country. There are many people in the country who are helping them. Though the police tries to catch them, on an average, I must have mentioned to you last time that 4,000 to 5,000 Bangladeshis do get caught. Now, what I'll do is this part I'll just leave it aside because this is a very big thing. I recommend that if anybody wants to understand it, go on my YouTube, because I would now rather go in for the countermeasures. I'll not talk about other issues, etc. The routes that they take to come inside, the routes are shown here. There are marshy areas from where they can infiltrate inside. They come by the river areas also. They come where BSF is corrupt. There are many ways they get into it. Okay, but I think what is more important is that we should now see as to what is exactly that we need to do. Exactly what we need to do, that is the most important issue. The unchecked proliferation of madrassas on both sides of international border has to be stopped. We have to catch the agents who are there. We have to detect them and take action against them. We have to improve our border fencing. There are many NGOs who provide them free boarding and lodging. We have to detect them and take action against them, etc. Now, this is, I mean, exactly what needs to be done. I will now just show you the last bit of slides, because these slides, the district-wise, how the composition of Bangladesh is increased in various parts. There is no time to talk about it. These are the routes which they show you. This is how they get into various things. And Malda, in fact, those of you are interested, India today had covered this illegal migration taking place inside Malda over three episodes. It is also available on the YouTube. Rahul Kaval, one of the anchors of India Today, has covered it. In fact, this illegal migration has been covered by many TV channels also, many in the media also. The media, especially in the Northeast, is quite active against the illegal migration. But the media in the mainstream, inside the main India, that somehow is not active at all. Nobody wants to. Times of India, Indian Express, they don't even talk about it. No political party wants to talk about it. They just keep quiet. In fact, on the other hand, when some people get detected, they say, no, for the sake of human rights, etc., we should let them be in this country only. So invasion of Northeast is complete. And here I will look at this role of Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad, role of media, role of political parties, the various chief ministers, and look at this portion. This is important. Chief ministers who fought against the illegal migration is Mr. Gopinath Bordloy, Vishnu Kumar Medi, Bimal Prasad Chalia. You need to compliment these people. Incidentally, they all are congressmen only. And then Assam Gani Parishad, etc., Ulfa, etc., they are the ones who fought against it. Now, presently, they are still infiltrating. And there's only one book I must mention that when the 70th war took place, Mrs. Indira Gandhi decided to go for war because at that point of time, about 80 lakh to 1 crore East Pakistanis or the Bangladeshis, as you know them, had come inside India, and Mrs. Gandhi thought that this was not acceptable, so she went to war. But today we have 5 or 6 crore of Bangladeshis, but we still don't want to go to war. Understand? And there's a book written by another author called Gary Boss. In his book, also these things are given. Now, the kind of appeasement that takes place, just have a look at the slide. Your eyes will turn white. Okay. The do's and don'ts that have been given to the police in West Bengal, etc. And this map tells you in detail what is green is. They are opinion makers in most of the areas. Almost in, I think, about more than 50% of the constituencies in West Bengal, the Bangladeshis are opinion makers. I don't want to get into the detailed map. Now, so what do you do now? That is what is the most important. This also I'll show you very quickly because, you need to do something about it. They are going into different areas. Another interesting thing is there are figures that about nearly 15 lakh Bangladeshis came to India on visa and did not or have not gone back. One good thing that the present government has done is that the enclave, which was creating a problem of infiltration, Shri Modi spoke to Mrs. Hasina Wajir, and the border has been straightened out now. So therefore, the enclave that was there has now, that easiness of infiltrating into India has been reduced now, and the degree of difficulty has definitely increased. Now they're taking the sea route also. I mentioned about it. Many places, the civil administration helps them, the BSF helps them, etc., etc. So these are various things that you can do. You have to take action at United Nations level. Stop. This should. There's a protocol of United Nations on this particular issue. You have to take actions at national level. You have to file an FIR. You have to detect them. You have to deport them. Police have to be given additional powers. You have to quickly catch them and deport them to Bangladesh. A lot of cattle also smuggled. This is something which you must understand, that smuggling cattle to Bangladesh is a very roaring business that is taking place. And one wonders how this can take place when the border is being guarded by the BSF. It's a huge business, because the cost of cattle there in Bangladesh is almost about 5 times more than that is there in India. So it's a huge business. So there are many things that you can do: encourage research, catch them, deport them, give them temporary permit, give them, make a white paper, sanitize the local administration, stop corruption, political, tell everybody, tell all political parties that this is an issue of national importance. You just have to be against it. You have to tell the media that keep on focusing, keep on doing investigative stories so that you're able to detect them. You must monitor the voting list of not only Assam, but also the Northeast India. In fact, now I'm sure you know that Government of India has said that voters card is not adequate to vote in the coming elections. We have to link up the voters card with your Aadhaar card. So this we'll be able to detect many of them, etc. So if at all in some areas we catch the people and till the time we are not able to deport them, we can give them work permit, give them a separate identity card, etc. Identity of the migrants has to be ensured. We have to deny them voting rights. We have to ensure that they don't occupy the government lands, etc. Now look at this. The Bangladeshis killed BSF person, and this is how they are carrying it. I mean, what a shame you get if you get killed there, you know. Okay. One of the reasons for this was, I also must mention to you that the last government had said that the BSF will not fire on the Bangladeshis, even if they are crossing the borders, because it is against human rights. But now the government of India has restored the powers of BSF to fire when they are infiltrating. But there are a lot of international agencies which try and put pictures there of people getting killed on the border. So BSF at times gets scared. Madrassas, security measures, there are many measures, riverline areas, flood lighting, gaps. In fact, the latest report of the Ministry of Home Affairs is available. I must have mentioned to you, in the latest MHA report, Mr. Amit Shah talks about as to he wants to floodlight this area. He wants to increase the density of fencing. He wants to put electronic fence. There are a lot of issues, lot of things they have been talked. He wants to reduce the gaps, etc. So those of you who are interested in further studies can have a look at the MHA report, which is available on the internet. Go on, download the report, and you will find one big, there are 3-4 pages on border management. Okay, so there are many things that you need to do. I'm just flashing the slides. Unfortunately, the biggest issue is that today many political parties are supporting it. Many NGOs are still supporting it. Many in the media are still supporting it. We are not united. So we need to have a comprehensive policy to stop it. Northeast can be made by carrying out proactive actions. We have to have a unified national effort. We have to stop all appeasement policies, etc. So I think here what I will do is I'll stop as far as this presentation is concerned. In the next part, I'll talk about Assam Rifles and the challenges which are there on the Myanmar border. So if you have any questions on what I've said up till now, that is what you can ask me any questions, if at all you want to ask me anything with regard to what I've covered up till now, or even what I intend to cover. So anything that you want to ask me. I'll just escape my thing and stop the presentation. I don't know how to stop it. How do I stop it? If I just close it, I hope it will not switch off. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So any question that on whatever I have said up till now? Any question? We have 1 or 2 minutes. Then otherwise, what I do is I'll share. Meanwhile, you think I'll share a different presentation. Meanwhile, just give me a minute. You can think. You can put the questions on the chat box, etc. Yeah, I'll share the presentation. Now, what I intend doing is up till now, what I've told you, these are all our what we discussed was the Central Armed Police Forces and their demonstrated performance. Now I'm going to talk about one paramilitary force, that is the Assam Rifle. It is the most important paramilitary force, and I mentioned to you that Assam Rifle is officered by the army, by the Indian Army officers. There are no IPS officers here, and they are the largest force as far as paramilitary forces are concerned, and their troops come from the state, from all the states of Northeast. So they are actually called the Sentinels of the Northeast, and they consist of people from people who are local, and they have been there since many years. And presently, they have been their duties have changed over a period of time. I will not get too much into the history, but presently they have 2 important duties. Number 1 is they have to guard the Indo-Myanmar border. I repeat, Indo-Myanmar border. And secondly, they have to carry out anti-insurgency operations should any insurgency recommence again here. Thirdly, they have to stop the smuggling. And fourthly, should we have a war with China, then they will help the Indian Army in terms of guarding the rear areas, etc. So these are the 3-4 most important tasks of the Assam Rifles. And very briefly, I talk about the historical perspective, organization, role, deployment, etc. And then some other operations that they have done. I don't want to get into as to how their strength increased, but I'll straight away start from 1947 when the country became independent. The Assam Rifles comes under the, though it is officered by the Indian Army, it comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. In fact, they came to MHA somewhere in 1965, and they have done a lot of jobs. They have, in fact, today, they have battalions working in the Jammu and Kashmir also. They were on the Chinese border also. They are on the Myanmar border also. And they have carried out a lot of good operations up till now. And how good are the operations? You just have a look at it. Don't see the World War I or the World War II, but have a look in 1962. They have taken part in that war. In Sikkim, they have taken part in Operation Pawan, in which the Indian Army had gone to Sri Lanka to fight against the LTT. They have taken part there. Operation Rakshak, that is basically the anti-terrorist operation in Punjab. That is where they have taken part. In addition to this, they have just let me pick up this thing. Okay, yeah. In addition to this, Operation Rakshak had taken place in Punjab. Okay, and they have taken part in Jammu and Kashmir also. And look at the honors and awards. Just look at the honors and awards. This is what they have got after independence. I'm not going to talk about what they got before independence. 5 military crosses. Military Cross was the highest award during the Second World War, etc. But Ashok, they have got 4 Ashok Chakras, the highest award which is given. Then 33 Kirti Chakras. Look at the awards. Then 149 Shaurya Chakras. Then Unit Citations 59. Unit Citation is basically a combined award if a battalion does well. And they have got a lot of medals from the president, medals from the prime minister, etc. They have quite a few awards. And they are losing their manpower quite a lot. Every year, 50 to 60 Assam Rifle soldiers get martyred in carrying out various operations. A lot of people get injured seriously. And I wonder if you remember about 1 year back, the CEO of Assam Rifle Battalion was killed along with his wife and his 8-year-old child. When they were traveling in a vehicle, they were attacked by the Naga insurgents. I hope how many of you remember that. I'm just forgetting the name of this brave officer. But this is how they suffer casualties, because they are doing the work that has been given to them head on. And they definitely need to be complimented what they are doing. And what I will do very briefly, I'll tell you as to how exactly they do their work on the international border. How do they do their work when carrying out various anti-insurgent tasks, etc. These are the people who have got the Ashok Chakra awardees: Captain Manmohan Rai, Subedar Major Kharka Bahadur, Captain Jairam, Major Shriram, etc. Okay. Then very briefly, they are a northeast centric force. This is one interesting thing that you have to understand. That means their troops come from all parts of the northeast, meaning Assam and etc. But today, what is Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, etc. In fact, when the Naga insurgents who ambushed the convoy of the commanding officer, they were Nagas who were fighting on the side of Assam Rifles. And I can also share it that my own battalion, 7 Maratha Light Infantry, had 2 Naga officers who were there. One was late Colonel Ao, who got a Sena medal when he killed 2 Nagaland insurgents inside Nagaland. He got a Sena Medal gallantry at that point of time, a very brave officer. And his son, Shashi Rao, had also joined 7 Marathas. Just recently, he's retired. So the Northeast people are there in large number in Assam Rifles and also in the Indian Army. Now they are look at this. They are, if you see my arrow, they're doing border guarding also. They're doing counterinsurgency also. They're involved in also law and order. That means for elections, etc., they are sent all over the place. If there is a problem which cannot be resolved, like recently there's a problem between the police of Assam and Mizoram, if I remember it correctly. Again, Assam Rifle was called, etc. But the senior leadership is only of the Indian Army. Now the area, how difficult it is, infrastructure, how difficult it is. What you have to understand is, as far as the border is concerned, with the Myanmar, it is thick jungles. So there are no roads. It is very hot. It is very humid there. There are very few roads that are inside. So therefore, patrolling has to be done only on foot. And a fair amount of migration takes place from the Myanmar border also, not as much as this, but recently, I mean, just to give you a specific example, when there was an unrest in Myanmar, which is still there, almost a lakh of people from Myanmar have crossed over into India. Of course, they have been caught and they have been kept inside the camp, because presently, since there is complete chaos inside Myanmar, the people are not willing to go there. So they are being put in the centralized camp there. So this kind of a problem takes place. The good part is it is not illegally. They don't come. They do come illegally, but they are detected and kept under confinement, taken care of by India till the time they are able to go back. But what is more serious here is presently insurgency is all-time low because of the good work done by Assam Rifles and the Indian Army. But the most important challenge today is of illegal smuggling. Smuggling is a big issue, and smuggling is of two types: gold smuggling and the narcotic smuggling. And unfortunately, smuggling is a way of life in the border areas. One big problem here is you have a look at it here. I'll just try and show this to you because this you need to understand as to what are the challenges here. There is a thing called free movement regime along the Indo-Myanmar border. Free movement regime. Now, very briefly, this is very, very important. I hope you have noted what I'm trying to say. I'm talking about this portion, free movement regime. What does free movement regime means? As per the traditional arrangement that was there, the border between India and Myanmar, though it is demarcated, but the point is people on both the sides are allowed to go inside each other's area up to 15 kilometers. I repeat, 15 kilometers, which means people from Myanmar are allowed to come into our areas, into our states for 15 kilometers. The reason is the tribes which are there on the Indian side, the Mizos and the Nagas, there are Mizos and Nagas and Manipuris on the other side of the border in Myanmar also. So in order to let them meet their families, this free movement was permitted. In earlier, there was, what you have to understand is, since the area is thick jungles, it is not possible to construct a barbed wire fence as we have constructed on the Pakistan border, also on the LOC, and also on the Bangladesh border. No fence here is possible. However, now the movement is being regulated of these people who come inside, and it is not completely free. They have to inform people, they have to inform the police, they have to inform the Assam Rifle. So a lot of control does take place. But illegally, people coming without telling you is still happening. So the challenge of Assam Rifles is there is no concept of a peace station there. For example, other people from a difficult area, they are posted to peace areas or posted to a less problematic area. This is not the case as far as Assam Rifle is concerned. They are permanently in the peace area. Now, these are the various states in which the Assam Rifles is active. I mean, all these places. I don't want to get into the insurgency part of it because insurgency would be a separate subject. But I have mentioned to you that there is no insurgency in most of the states. Insurgency today is confined to Manipur and Nagaland. In Nagaland also there is a ceasefire agreement between Indian Army and the NSC and IM and NSC and K, and the agreement and negotiations are taking between these Naga groups who have now been put in one camp inside Nagaland, where they are supposed to stay there only with their weapons, and they are not allowed to go anywhere. The camps are more or less guarded by the from outside by the Assam Rifles. But the negotiations are not proceeding further. There are two most important reasons. One is the Naga groups want an independent flag for Nagaland, which cannot be given, because if that happens, then this will open up a Pandora's box, and every state will start asking for flags, etc., which is not correct. And secondly, they want areas where Nagas are residing in Manipur and in some parts of Assam to join what is called as the Greater Nagaligam. Now, today, in today's context, the boundaries cannot be changed. If you change the boundaries, again, it will open up a Pandora's box. Some of you may know there's a boundary dispute between the state of Maharashtra and state of Karnataka, and Maharashtra claims that Belgaum, Nipani, all those areas must come to Maharashtra. And I'm one person who supports it, because my Maratha Light Infantry Regimental Center is located in Belgaum, and the Marathi press just does not cover any activities of the Maratha regiment because they're in the state of Karnataka. That was just in a jocular way, but you cannot, there is no scope of changing the boundaries presently, because if you do, then it will open up a Pandora's box. Okay, now I don't want to get into too much of detail. They have a DG Assam Rifles, then there are 3 division size force, Inspector General Assam Rifles North, Inspector General Assam Rifles South, Inspector General Assam Rifles East, and then they have a training establishment like the training schools, Center of Excellence, etc. And roughly the strength is in excess of about 65,000. There are 26 Assam Rifle. There are 2 battalions which are deployed in Jammu and Kashmir, and these are the strength of various battalions that are given there. And what you have to understand is they are operationally under the Indian Army. I repeat, they are operationally under the Indian Army. The arrangement works very, very well. And today, the insurgency's back has been broken because of this aspect only. And in fact, even the smuggling that takes place from the Assam Rifle border, most of it gets caught. A lot of drugs, if you see the reports, I'll show you the report somewhere else, how much drugs get caught every year. This is how they're deployed on the border of Myanmar, but I'll not get into the detail. They're deployed on the borders of in Nagaland, in Manipur, in Mizoram, on the Myanmar border. I'll not get into this. Look at the border, how difficult it is, etc. This is the place where they are located. A lot of large areas. How do they catch smuggling? This is shown here. This is the border town from where, since you have opened up the border now, this is where a trade takes place between India and Myanmar. And look at this. Now this village, half the village is in India, half the village in Myanmar, but now this has been, the boundary limits have been demarcated very well. The kind of smuggling that takes place is given here. Some of the smuggling can be divided into 2 parts, minor items, like local produce, like red sandalwood, etc. going there. What is smuggled from India is Indian government gives subsidized rations to people below poverty line. So almost anybody and everybody in this area gets subsidized ration. And what these people do is, the subsidized ration is sold to people in Myanmar. So this ration smuggling is also a big issue. But what is smuggled here is basically the thing which is creating a problem is the drug. Other things are smaller issues. In good old times, even electronic goods were smuggled. But after the Indian markets opened up, the smuggling of electronic goods has stopped. While local produce does get smuggled from here to there, that did not worry us. But what worries us is the narcotics, which there are two areas. Here, it is shown that legal trade, which is 50 crore annually between India and Myanmar, it has been recommended that to stop the smuggling of local items, we should have a legal trade on more number of points. Okay, so this is the operational achievements of these people. You see the kind of weapons that you have got. I hope you are able to see. You can see this. Can you see this AK-47 rifles, ammunition that they collected, and the troops who are see the amount of weapons that they have got. See the weapons and the troops who are involved there. I hope you can see the various weapons that have been caught there. Okay, the Assam Rifles is operationally quite effective. Only challenge which can be expected in the next few years. See the amount of drugs, etc., that they have caught. See the surrenders that have taken place in terms of insurgents, etc. It is fairly large, fairly large. That's all I can tell you. You see the insurgents, the people who have been killed, people who have been apprehended, people who have surrendered, and the arms that have been caught. Year-wise, it has been given. The achievement is quite good. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. That is the drugs, etc. The contraband value is given there. Almost 1,500 crores worth of contrabands have been cost last year. 2022, the figure is 125. This figures are of up to February. I could not get the latest figure. Maybe the MHA, if it gives the figure, then maybe we can update it. You see the various kinds of things that have been caught here. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell you about Assam Rifles. So I'll stop Assam Rifles here. I just try to give you a very brief overview of how they are guarding the borders. They are reasonably efficient. Only thing is, at times, there's a proposal which said that Assam Rifles should be taken from army control and should go completely under the Ministry of Home Affairs for operations also. It will be a disaster if it happens. This kind of a balloon gets thrown in the air once in a while, after every 2 years or 3 years. This just should not happen. They are doing a good job under the army, and more or less the migration has been stopped there, but smuggling definitely we need to induct more technology here, which of course we have inducted, but still there's a scope for much more. So this is what I wanted to tell you about the Assam Rifle. So any questions about Assam Rifle? And when I talked about Assam Rifle, I mentioned it's a paramilitary force. Similarly, the NSG, National Security Guard, is a paramilitary force. I've spoken about the various operations that they have done. Operation Black Tornado in Mumbai, and 26/11 is going to come up in just 9 days from today, So if you want to see how the operation was done, you can go on my YouTube. Then another Assam Rifle, another paramilitary force which is not talked about, hush manner, is the SFF. I'll just mention it very briefly. Have some of you heard about SFF, Special Frontier Force? It is completely officered by the Indian Army, and it came into limelight 2 years back when the border with China was activated during Galwan, etc. We have used the SFF there, and they have done a good job. SFF consists of troops, soldiers who are ex-Tibetans, but officers are entirely from the Indian Army. They are a hush force. They do a lot of things, and they are a very effective force. And it is one force the Chinese are very scared of, because they feel, since there are Tibetans in this force, the soldiers that is, the Tibetans who are on the side of China may change their loyalties. and one of the ex-chief of army staff, General Dalbir Suhag, if you remember him, he was one person who was in the SSF, and they have done quite a few covert operations, of which we cannot talk about, but they are quite an effective force. Then NSG I've spoken about, SFF I've spoken about, and Rashtriya Rifles is actually called the paramilitary force, but it's actually army. There is no point of talking about it because just for the sake of this thing they talked about as paramilitary force, but it is actually only the army. And Rashtriya Rifles, there are about 65, 70 battalions that are there in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They are doing a wonderful job. In fact, every day what happens in Jammu and Kashmir is reported. So I think I'll stop talking about the paramilitary forces, etc. Now, the last presentation that I'll do, I think we have already exceeded our time, but you people decided not to give me the link in time. Any question, or otherwise, the last presentation which I'll cover for about 10-15 minutes is this. Let me start off. Let me just highlight.
So I have a question. This is Jayesh here.
Yeah, please do. I'm opening the presentation, but meanwhile you can ask a question, and anybody can ask a question. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, as a part of curriculum in the last semester, I have written a research paper on the Rashtriya Rifles.
Yeah.
So my question to you is this, sir. So what is the criteria for sending the men from the army to the Assam Rifles? Is it the same like RR? For instance, there is a regimental system in the RR. Like 33 RR is affiliated with parachute regiment, 19 with Sikhs. So is it the same in Assam Rifle or is it different?
No, Assam Rifle is completely different. Assam, let me tell you firstly about the troops, the Jawans. The Jawans of Assam Rifle are recruited directly. Okay, I repeat, recruited directly as Assam Rifles only, though the training is more or less takes place in the army centers, but they're recruited directly. Number two is the age profile. The army, I'm sure you are aware, army Jawan serves only for 17 years. A soldier I'm talking about, he gets recruited at the age of 18 or 19, and then 17 years he serves, and 35, and then he gets he goes out. Of course, that has been stopped now, and now that Agniveer concept has come up. So there's going to be nobody who's going to serve for 17 years, but earlier it was 17 years till about 1 year back. Assam Rifle does not do so. Assam Rifle, like all other central government servants, serve till the age of 58. I repeat, 58. The army used to serve till only 35 physically, but they served till 58. So there are a lot of old people in Assam Rifle, and they are of course absorbed on administrative job, but it does create a problem because a person of the age of 50, 55 can't be expected to serve in a difficult area. So this part one is this issue of age limit. Second is the officers in Assam Rifle, the lower level officers, just to give some promotions to the people who come as soldiers, they become junior commission officers, etc. in Assam Rifles. Some of them do become officers, but they reach only up to rank of a colonel. They don't go beyond that. So they call them the Assam Rifle cadre, etc. Okay. And the higher level officers are only from the Indian Army. Now that is as far as Assam Rifles is concerned. So there is Assam Rifle is it belongs to Assam Rifles only. They do not come from any other regiment except the officers who can come from any regiment. For example, my son is today in Assam Rifles. He's a Maratha officer, so he can go there. Officers from every regiment go there, and there are many criteria that I don't want to get into it. The officers of the Indian Army, in addition to serving in the infantry battalions, have to go to two forces. One is Assam Rifles, and second is Rashtriya Rifles. So some go to Assam Rifles, some go to Rashtriya Rifles. So that is as far as officers are concerned. Now, as far as Rashtriya Rifle Jawans are concerned, they are 100% from the army, and the normal thing is that 50% of the Jawans generally are from the infantry battalions. You mentioned that one particular battalion belongs to Para. 17 RR and 27 RR belongs to the Maratha regiment. Okay, what it simply means is their troops only come from the Maratha regiment. Their JCOs come from the Maratha regiment. Their officers also come from the Maratha regiment. Aim was to keep the regimentation as much possible as intact, because when everybody was coming from everywhere, it was not working well. Regimental spirit was not working well. So therefore, even the companies of Assam Rifle, like for example, each Assam Rifle battalion would have about 7 to 8 Maratha light infantry battalions sending their troops there. Now they are being kept together in companies and in platoons. So they are trying to preserve the regiment. That means the first 7 Maratha boy, if he goes to 27 RR, he goes to Alpha Company, where they stay together, and the regimentation system continues. Okay. So therefore, Rashtriya Rifles troops are from Indian Army, JSOs are from Indian Army, training is done with the Indian Army. Only for a tenure of 3 years or 2 years, they come to the they come to Rashtriya Rifles, and then they go back. So their complete dependency is on the Indian Army, anything and everything and everything. And more or less, the regimentation is preserved, more or less. In fact, like some armored corps troops come, some troops come from Mech Infantry, etc. But they are kept in one platoon, etc. So that the spirit of that particular armed service stays put there. Now, so this is so 100% everything from the army. Now, as far as the Assam Rifle is concerned, the troops, the JCOs and officers of the up to the rank of colonels, many of them are from Assam Rifles only. Assam Rifles only. But many officers of the above the rank of majors and lieutenant colonels from Indian Army come into Assam Rifles, which they basically come to become the company commanders there. And the battalion commanders in any case are from the Indian Army, rest everybody is from the Indian Army. So basically that is a small difference that is there. But except the troops which is of completely Assam Rifle cadre and the JSOs only from the Assam Rifle cadre, that is the difference as far as Assam Rifles is concerned. Rashtriya Rifles, anything and everything is from the Indian Army based on the regimental system. Yeah. Any other question? Okay, we are already at 12:48. What I'll do is this next 10 minutes, I think I'll cover one of the topics given to me was this, which is a part of this, defense. This thing is decision-making structures at national level. It is actually a theoretical aspect. I mean, I wonder how I can cover it up in the time frame I've given. But nevertheless, I'll start. And then let's see, wherever we finish 15 minutes, then maybe the remainder portion is what I'll cover later. So decision-making level, that is what we're talking about. Now, when we talk of decision-making levels at strategic level, I'm sure, we have the Prime Minister of the country, who's the executive head of the country. Then you have the Ministry of Defense, you have the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs looks after the CAPF, police, etc. The MOD looks after the armed forces, etc. And then you have a cabinet committee for security, cabinet committee for political affairs. So a structure is there. The tree I will show you slightly later. But what has happened is that this decision-making structure, how has it worked over a period of time? And the more important part is it important to change this structure? That is the issue. Now, for example, I'll just tell you the response during 47-48 war. The Prime Minister, when he went to visit the army, when the J&K war was going on, he asked the artillery, why are you firing such big shells on the Pakistanis? Why can't you fire a smaller shell? Why are you causing so many casualties to them? I mean, one has to understand that armies are supposed to kill the opposition army, and you don't use a minimum force there, as is the concept as far as police is concerned, because police is fighting with its own people. So therefore, they use what is called as the minimum force, use lathi initially, then thereafter fire in the air, then maybe fire for effect, etc., fire below the belt. But that is not what the armed forces. So the leadership, since it was obsessed with peace, did not even understand as to how to utilize the army. And as far as 62 war is concerned, it's a classic example of how the army should not be used. In fact, there's a very famous presentation available on this. In 1961, the then Chief of Army Staff General Thimayya, he went to the Prime Minister to tell him, sir, I'll give you the presentation on threats that are there to India's national security and how should we counter it. So the moment he started talking, the Prime Minister got very angry. He says, no, I don't want to listen to your presentation. We don't require defense policy. I'll not exact, and this is quoted in the book also, quoted in General Thimayya's book also. He told General Thimayya, we don't require defense policy. We don't require army. Police are good enough to take care of our security needs. There will be no war between India and China. And in the most unlikely event of there being one, I'll be able to resolve the issue at a diplomatic level. So what does this say? Army is not required. Police are good enough. And what you have to understand is, during Panditji's time, you had a war for 1 year with Pakistan, which was fought by conventional forces. We had a war for 4 weeks with Chinese, which was a conventional war. And you would remember that Hyderabad is called a police action, but Hyderabad was liberated by the Indian Army. I'm sure you know about it. Then another police action in 1961 was called Goa police action. Sorry, no police was used there. It was only the army which liberated them. But despite that, too much of a faith on ahimsa, etc. Now, as far as 1965 war is concerned, the decision-making structures which were there, Y.B. Chauhan was a defense minister. You would remember that after the disaster of 62, Mr. Chauhan was moved from Maharashtra. He went there, he became a defense minister. And he did a lot of good things. The reconstruction of army took place, mounted divisions were raised during his time, etc. And he was an efficient defense minister. Unfortunately, just before the 71 war, he was removed and Sri Jagjivan Ram became the defense minister. So a credit of fighting the 71 war very well. A lot of it should have gone to the administrative part to Sri Y.B. Chauhan. He did not get his due credit. All the focus was on Mrs. Indira Gandhi, but a lot of reconstruction of Indian Army after the 1962 war was done by Mr. Y.B. Chauhan. But Y.B. Chauhan showed his qualities of leadership during the 65 war when Army said that we need to use the Air Force now because the Pakistani tanks are advancing towards Akhnur. If you don't use Air Force, then the road to Punch will get cut. Mr. Y.B. Chauhan said, but I like to ask the parliament, it will take time. The army told him, sorry, you cannot ask these questions. You have to take a decision yourself because the situation is grave. He took a decision, Air Force was used, and the Pakistani advance towards Akhnur, which is a part of J&K, was stopped. A good decision taken. Similarly, there came a time when Pakistani started creating a problem in Chham. Lal Bahadur Shastri, who had just become temporarily a prime minister, he showed his quality of leadership there. And he was told, now if you have to stop Pakistanis in the Chham area, Chham is basically opposite the area of Kashmir, then you have to cross into Pakistan where it hurts them most, that is next in the area of Punjab, that's the Indian Punjab, and go towards Lahore because Lahore is barely 15 kilometers from the international border. Lal Bahadur ji said, no, that is, I can't do that. I have to ask the parliament. You are told, no, you have to take a decision because if you don't, situation may become serious militarily. He took a decision. He said, go ahead. And that was the first time Indian Army ever crossed the international border and went into Pakistan. How the Ethiopian Canal was crossed, how Lahore was surrendered is a history. Unfortunately, while the leadership was provided good during the wartime, but diplomacy, we failed. Haji Pir Pass was returned. Okay, and unfortunately, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji died in a suspicious condition. There was a latest movie on that called the Tashkent Files. You can have a look at it. Now, as far as then 70th war, excellent leadership provided by the Indian Army, by the political leadership, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Initially, she was having a problem with the military leadership. She said, go to war immediately in the month of April. You had another outstanding person there, called Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw. He said, no, I can't do it. Mrs. Indira Gandhi said, if you don't do it, I'll sack you. And I'll tell the border security force, which is on the border, to do your job. He said, yes, go ahead if you can do it. Mrs. Indira Gandhi realized that it was not a job which BSF could do. And rest, I'm sure you know that instead of going for a war in April, Field Marshal decided to go for a war in the month of December. 71 war, I had covered it briefly when I'd come to you some time back. It was a well-fought war, excellent leadership, etc. Okay, everything good about it because of outstanding personalities of Mrs. Indira Gandhi and of course the Field Marshal and many more. Okay, but again, the diplomacy, Mrs. Indira Gandhi thought that let's have a similar agreement, return 94,000 prisoners, thought that Pakistan will become a friend. No, she died in that Khalistani terrorism started by Pakistan in 1984. So we failed during the negotiations on the negotiations table. Kargil war, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the prime minister at that point of time. They laid an unnecessary condition on Kargil that you would restrict it only to Kargil. Army said, let's open the war elsewhere also because Kargil is a high altitude area. Getting troops ready for a war there takes about 3 to 4 weeks. You have to get additional troops, etc., etc. But this was not allowed. The Indian Army fought with hands tied behind the back, and we lost so many young officers and young soldiers because it was told that war will be confined only to Kargil and we will not carry out offensive actions elsewhere. So that was not a correct decision to take as far as the war was concerned. And of course, again, Atal Bihari Vajpayee also had a faith in, too much of faith in Pakistan. He sang a poem. I'm sure if you heard the poem, he carried out what is called as the Lahore Bus Yatra. He went to Lahore by bus and he sang a poem there. I give out a few lines if I remember it correctly. Bharat Pak Padosi साथ साथ रहना है, war करे या युद्ध करे, दोनों को ही रहना है. जो हम पे गुजरी बच्चों के संग ना होने देंगे, जंग ना होने देंगे, जंग ना होने देंगे. It was if you see the newspapers of '99 and the editorials written by the newspapers, every newspaper went crazy. Peace around the corner, peace around the corner. Times of India, Indian Express. Only the Indian Army kept its head straight. No, peace is not around the corner. The politicians were fooled. The higher leadership, complete our decision-making structure were fooled because when he was singing this poem, it was exactly this time when the Pakistani army was infiltrating into Kargil. Okay, now if you come to the present thing, China policy will be a separate subject. Initially, we tried to make friends with China. You remember that there were 2-3 meetings with the present Prime Minister with China. Now we have changed the policy and we have adopted a tough policy. Pakistan also, initially, Mr. Modi tried to get him to India, and Nawaz Sharif did come for the swearing-in ceremony in 2014. Shri Narendra Modi ji attended his grandniece's marriage in Pakistan, but Pakistan would not change. Now the policy in Pakistan is tough. Now left-wing extremism, illegal migration is something we can talk about. So today, the decision-making structures that are there have to be dynamic, have to be men who are mature, have to understand military history, have to understand security, have to understand various challenges that are there, have to understand as to what it means to take a particular decision, etc. So this is what national security is all about. And the decision-making structures have to understand that we require an integrated, comprehensive national security now, because the challenges are changing every day. From conventional war, it has come to hybrid war, from hybrid war to gray zone warfare, unrestricted warfare, cyber war, information war. So the challenges are changing. No conventional war has been fought after the Kargil war in 1999. And you have to understand national security, integrated national security. Integration means all aspects of national security, be it economic, be it energy security, be it food security, be it environmental security. And comprehensive means any organization of the country, be it armed forces, be it central armed forces, be it police forces, be it intelligence agencies, everybody has to contribute to make it a comprehensive security. And human security, what is important is the most important person whom you have to secure is a ordinary Indian citizens. Unfortunately, even now we have obsession about the VIP security. The most important person for any country is the common man and common man's security. Somehow VIP culture has become so this thing in our country that we are still not willing to understand that it takes away huge manpower from the police and the central armed police forces to protect so-called threats to the VIPs. The VIPs, unfortunately, are, they take it as a status symbol, etc. So, to be recognized as a powerful nation, India, what our decision-making structures should understand that we have to understand what is called as the comprehensive national security, that is national unity. Only if Indians unite together, then we can keep ourselves secure. We have to ensure territorial security. We have to ensure political stability. We have to ensure prosperity. We have to ensure social well-being. We have to have cultural cohesion, cultural cooperation. Technologically, we have to be sufficient and also credible military capability to meet the military challenges. Now, frankly speaking, each of these points which I have covered in exactly 2 minutes, I can speak for next 5 minutes, but we are short of time. So maybe again on this issue, I have spoken, some of you may know, I had spoken on this issue 3-4 times at Chanakya Mandal when they asked me to speak on this. So this is also available on my YouTube. So those of you who want to get into more detail can have a look at it on my YouTube. Just one question: has anybody made an attempt to go to my YouTube? Anybody, if it's gone, just say yes or no. Anybody is gone there? Okay, yes, no response. So I take it you are not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who's saying yes, Jayesh?
हाँ sir.
Achha,
yes,
okay. Chalo.
Also, I get notifications from you on WhatsApp as well.
Achha, okay. Wonderful. This topic that I'm talking about today, this also is on my YouTube because it's a very longish thing, so therefore not easy. What I'll do now is I'll stop here, and if there are any questions that you want to ask me, is what we could then take it for about next 3-4 minutes. Any questions? Till then, what I'll do is just flash the slides because one would not be able to speak so much on the time that is available to us. But just have a look at the slides, which maybe invasions, how enemies come to you, various dimensions that are there to the security. Emerging security challenges, various forms of terrorism, non-military threats to India's national security. This is what Dr. Manmohan Singh said long time back. Traditional hotspots, various challenges that are there from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Myanmar, etc. The Indian Ocean challenges, unconventional challenges. This is what Arya Chanakya said long time back. How do we protect our maritime security? Strategic location, land borders and sea borders, the island territories, the economic security, China. Latest, I'm sure you know that ever since Xi has been elected, we are not, not even congratulated him. but in this G20 summit, they just shook hands. Okay, and that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and the Chinese Prime Minister and Xi. Xi is going to create a lot of problems for you in the days to come, and we have told him very, very clearly, till the time you resolve the border issue, till the time those two places where you are still the intrusion is there, till the time you go back, there is going to be no normal relationship with you. And but also remember that we are doing a lot of action as far as China is concerned. But weapons of mass destruction. Day before yesterday only, Poland was complaining that somebody fired a missile on them. And you would remember that there's a very interesting thing that happened. Call it a mistake, call it a gray zone. Air Force was working on the one of the missiles. It was carrying out this maintenance of a missile called BrahMos. It got fired and it went into Pakistan. How many of you know it? You know it?
Yes, sir.
BrahMos missile reached Pakistan. Yes, and what happened in Pakistan thereafter? Pakistan went on an alert. They thought that India is going to launch a nuclear attack because BrahMos is a nuclear missile. Of course, on this, the nuclear warhead was not there. On this, only a dummy warhead was there. Okay, and it was fired by mistake. And the chief of Pakistan's air defense was sacked. The person of Air Force was responsible for air defense. He was sacked. But there's an Army air defense and there's an Air Force air defense. They was sacked, and Pakistan was really scared like hell. So it showed that how weak is Pakistan's anti-aircraft defense, how weak are their radars, how inefficient they are. Of course, in return, we sacked about 5 Air Force officers. I'm sure you know about it. So a missile that was fired by mistake exposed a lot of gaps in Pakistan's defenses. Okay. Weapon of mass destruction, energy and water security. And energy security, we have managed it very, very well. In fact, as late as yesterday, our foreign minister was talking about it because of the Russian oil that we are getting, almost 22 or 23% right now. It is really helping us to subsidize our oil imports, and our prices of oil has not increased despite the fact that Indian crude basket of oil has increased quite a lot. Okay. The water security, in fact, just today, the water, China creating a problem for us, stealing water from Brahmaputra, etc. I have a whole YouTube this thing on India's water security. You can have a look at it because it's not easy to cover it. And in fact, in today's Times of India only, there's a on the editorial page, there's a interview with a World Bank official or something. He talks about how China is going to carry out damming of Brahmaputra river in Tibet. Not that he required to tell us, but he's telling to the world also. So the water security is a problem. Want to read it? Please read it on my YouTube. Okay. In fact, what I do is I updated versions of this energy security, water security, etc. I put it up separately because a lot of things have changed ever since I made the last video. Drug trafficking is a major problem. How the drugs come into India. Okay. Money laundering is a big problem. Remember one thing, now that we are going to be a president of the G20 for next 1 year, all these issues are being raised. I hope you know that International Terrorism Conference took place. I hope you know about it. You know, International Terrorism Conference took place in India and it took place in Hotel Taj. Why did it take place there? Any idea, anybody? Why did they have a conference on terrorism of United Nations Security Council in Hotel Taj? My question to everybody. Because the food in Taj is good? I'll not tell you the reason. You understand. Okay. And also, I hope you know that in this particular conference, by a video conferencing, they got a person called Baby Moshe. If I taken the name correctly, Moshe was a 2-year-old baby or a 1-year-old baby who was in that hotel, who was saved by the ayah who was there. And for that, the ayah was given the highest award of Israel. She was the one who saved him. That baby is now 16 years old now. So he also shared his experience in front of the audience in Hotel Taj. Okay. Okay. Cyber terrorism, a separate subject. Okay. The jihadi philosophy, water in J&K, terrorism in J&K, etc. So I think I'll stop here now. And I stop my complete presentation here. If there is anything that you want to ask me, anything that you want to tell me, what I will recommend is if you're not been able to, if what I said was, I covered a lot of aspects. Maybe you can ask me questions next time also. Maybe you can mull over the presentation by seeing it on the YouTube, etc., and then ask me questions. Also, I would suggest one thing. If I repeat anything, then do tell me, Kisa, it's a repetition. You already spoken about it, so that repetition does not take place, and one is able to cover other aspects of national security. Okay. So this, what I was talking was about decision-making structures as to how did they perform, and what exactly are they. That organization is there in my presentation, which I will cover when I meet you next time. I'm going to meet you now on coming Tuesday and coming Thursday, and maybe if they have time, then one more in between. Okay, and I'll cover up all these topics that have been given to me, which was your semester, which I think gets over on 28th of November or something. Yeah. Any question, anybody? So, should I stop? Anybody wants to give any concluding remarks on whatever I have said or not said? Rajesh, anything? Rachel, some remarks from you? Deepali?
Yes, sir, it was a very
informative. Yeah, Rachel. Any remarks? Rajesh had opened up. Yeah. Then I saw Deepali's decided to disappear.
So not remark, but I would require your contact number.
Okay, my contact number is I'm very easily reachable. Note down my contact number. But Deepali, I'll give you my contact number, no problems. But my recommendation to anybody is, I'll not be able to answer your calls answer your queries individually. Okay.
No problem, sir. No problem.
Yeah, because that becomes a bit tiring,
Yeah.
You can ask them in front of everybody. Next time in my meeting, now we are going to meet 3 more times, at least 2 times definitely in the next week. So maybe that you can ask me questions, but I'll give you my contact number.
Yes.
Anything very specific that you can ask me. Yeah, my number is 9096 70 1253.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
9096 70 1253. Maybe the only thing you can do is get connected on the WhatsApp, because what I do is I keep on adding a lot of things to my YouTube and my Facebook. In fact, it is quite a few. I don't. So I'll send you the link if you're a part of my WhatsApp group. So that way you can on WhatsApp you can get connected. I'm not saying that you don't speak to me. You can speak to me, but answering everybody's question will become that much difficult. So the questions related to national security, you can always ask in the next session when we meet. Okay, but you're still welcome to talk to me. There's no problem. Okay, chalo. Okay then. See you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.